Now that's out of the way.
Yes, sir.
Face off.
Face off. Do we have both? Yes, we do. We have both captains ready to go. Comps and Greg. Greg looks like he's been into something. We're going to start off with Greg today. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty bad. I'm still recovering from the last time Elevate beat the crap out of me. It's been a rough time. I'm still working on it a little bit.
Yeah, still healing. Got some band-aids on your face, kind of a deal.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah. What did you have to go to the hospital or anything, or was it just?
Yeah. It was a rough time.
All right.
We're good though. It's okay.
You guys are back. You're better. You've practiced. You're ready to take on Elevate.
Oh yeah, 100% less spectators now, so that's a plus.
But you didn't sell Nova. All right, Greg. My question is, like we were just talking about, last time you played them, it did not go in your favor at all. What's going to be different this time? You think it's going to be different? You think it's going to be the same?
I think that we're definitely going to get beat up again. I do think, however, that we've improved a lot. The first time we played them was quite literally our first time ever playing in the Gold League. When now we have a round robin under our belt, we've picked up some decent wins so far against a couple experienced teams. So we'll see how tonight goes. I'm hoping for a couple rounds.
And then final question for you, Greg. What are you going to do with the trash?
I don't know. I think I'm just going to sleep on it tonight. Whatever.
All right.
All right, Comps. Now over to you. When we talked to you after your last match day, that smile you had before the game was no longer there. You guys didn't sound too happy about how that went. I'm assuming you guys had practice yesterday. If so, what went on? You guys feel more ready for the day? Where are you guys at?
Yeah, yesterday we had an afternoon practice, and it went well. I mean, I think we ironed out all the mistakes we had, so I mean, we should be on point for tonight's match.
So, if I may ask, what do you think a lot of those mistakes came down to? Was it calling errors? Was it player errors? Where'd that come from? What was the root of that issue?
Oh, it was definitely player errors. People just did not play well, out of position, bad shots, that type of stuff. So, I mean, I guess people have some off days, but overall, I think it's been worked on, and we should be good for tonight.
All right, fair enough. Well, that about does it for us, guys. Comp, do you have any final thoughts for Greg or Teal Team 6?
Good luck and have fun.
All right, Greg, any final thoughts for Comps and Elevate?
You're going down, punk!
All right,
Okay.
Good luck, guys. Oh, Greg.
Yeah.
Greg, the meme lord.
I thought he was going to have something clever to say about the trash because he said Teal Team's TT6 trash right behind him on that. Yeah.
Straight from Greg, guys. Straight from their team captain. Says about the vote of confidence he has in them today.
All right. So with that in mind, I guess they're going to pull out some crazy strats. They might do some fun meme strats here or there.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. This is the sort of match where you break that stuff out. You've come up with some crazy strats, something just off the wall where you just want to, you haven't had a chance to bring them.
Yeah.
You haven't wanted to use them in a match where you kind of favor yourself or you think you're a contender.
But where those strats are honestly a joke.
Yeah. But right now, you're like, hey, so we're playing Elevate. Nothing we did last time worked. We got 5-0'd. What do we got in our back pocket? What haven't we done?
So you're going to take the SEA approach. Yep. Our friends in over there in Australia and Southeast Asia have always understood the importance of meme strats. Because as we've seen in previous even Worlds finals for World of Tanks, non-standard or some crazy strats have thrown off the best teams in the WGL before.
Yeah, and I will say, if there's a map pool to bring some really crazy out there stuff, we're playing a couple of them. Muravanka up first, that's one of those maps where
you can do some crazy strats.
You can do some crazy stuff. Mouses hiding passively in bushes. All sorts of crazy stuff they could bring out there. Then you got Ruinberg. That one's a little bit less crazy, but maybe the North Cap Bully. There's a lot of stuff they can do. Now let's talk about Muro though.
Yes.
So the forest obviously can hide a lot of tanks. You can move stuff around.
If we see Elevate on the attack going that way, it's going to be a longer battle. It tends to be a lot slower, unless we see a flex back to the north side where things tend to move a little bit quicker as a contrast to the rest of the map. That'll be the major focus for anyone who's trying to end Battle 1 quickly, which Elevate might just do. We'll see what they're going to, as they are readying up tanks right now. We've got an IS-7 from Ox Mathis, 3 5As. And 3 Bat Chats, not super crazy lineup there. on the attack, and on defense, a single mouse, 2 5As, 3 bat jets, and a T100 LT. Now, that tells me we're going to see a lot of passive play in that T100 with a strong defense going on the that 1-2 line.
I agree, but once again, we're talking about doing stuff off color, not predictable stuff out there. T100, it's a fast, zippy little tank. It's a great active tank to scout around in. So
active, passive, whatever it needs to do, it's low to the ground. It's just
hard
small.
to hit.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, the mouse there. Those are tanks, they could be used unconventionally. Now, there's stuff that we're used to on this map that certainly could be the case. Or they could just do something that we're not going to expect out of them. And we'll have to see what they bring to the table right now as we get into battle number 1.
All right, so Supernova, we're going to follow him quickly. And he'll be going right up the middle towards Chapel, where, oh, look at this. He might actually meet Canadian Impact, but some smooth driving is going to allow him to get spotted slightly later than normal. As he tries to escape, we've got tanks lining up. Vetro on the hill. Canadian has been spotted in his position, not loaded in the bat chat.
Aggressive scout run from that T100. Unfortunate, though, only finding Canadian Impact and has to back off before he takes some damage.
Yep, Dodoma looks like he tries to sneak a shot towards Supernova as he escapes back towards the south, but unfortunately not able to land that shell. Supernova is going to now decide on his next passive spotting position as Elevate starts this one off with a nice slow play towards the east side. Supernova's found a spot. All right.
And remember how we were talking about, you know, maybe some strats that were kind of out there. They have 2 passive tanks in this field. They have one that's actually not even in a bush. It's in a knocked over tree. So we'll have to see if this can throw Elevate off. Now, they've moved the T100 into a passive bush as well. However, the problem is there's 2 of them. And this is something that Eclipse pioneered a while ago. You know, 2 different passive tanks, including one you normally wouldn't expect to be in that passive position. And what that does is it changes the spotting lanes. It makes it so there's multiple angles that you're getting spotted from. And it's already hard enough to find 1 passive tank in this field. If you look at how many bushes are sitting around just past Zombie Food here, there's so many different places, and that whole trying to spot, you know, or trying to narrow down where one of them can be is already hard enough. Trying to do that for 2 tanks in the 10-minute timer that we have, it's not impossible, but it's highly difficult.
Yes. Generally, the response to this is to just go for that 1 cap in the west, right? Because you nullify this, you don't waste your time or your effort or hit points even to just try and get some hits.
It can be a lot more controlled.
Yes. Although, what Elevate's going to do instead, it looks like, is send Mathis. He had a little escort with him to move up into this position. And as you can see here, he's just going to start looking for targets. And Greg from the hill, that 5A is the tank that's going to be looking in his direction currently. Looks like no one else is really going to have a strong angle on him or is even trying much. Zombie may be able to sneak a shell past Viral and shoot Mathis in the front, but other than that, he's relatively safe. Meanwhile, we should follow what Elevate's doing with the 5As. They're moving him up, actually, on the west side. Anime Lord Brett, under cover of Vetro and External, is getting forward towards the 1 cap. He'll be able to engage a little bit with Bananas to the wall host from this position and put some pressure on the rest of Teal Team 6's defensive positions.
Yeah, no, Ox is spotted down here. They know this IS-7's down here. However, he's an IS-7. He's a great hold-down tank, and it's going to be really hard to get quality shots if he doesn't push any farther up onto the high ground. Sitting in this little low defilade he's in right now provides him some nice hold-down cover.
Yep. And with the crossfire of Brett and Mathis, Elevate's probably hoping to pinch out Supernova and Viral. However, we can see a little spotting from Brett, and the Love Hitman is moving forward. That mouse. This mouse is going to be moving forward to try and pressure Vetro and cut off Brett and Mathis. It's a bit dangerous, though, because if Elevate collapses correctly at the right time, when Teal Team 6 is still in motion, they may be able to get some free picks or something of the like. And this distraction actually shows that Teal Team 6 is putting their focus towards the middle, not towards defending their lights in the south. I think Elevate may be able to take advantage of that, or what they'll do is they'll just jump onto Love Hitman.
Yep, and Ox is just going to start driving across this field. He may find Viral and Supernova. Now, he only actually spots Supernova. Now Viral opens up onto Ox in the south. So they do have the 2-on-1 here. Now, this is going to be important where this focus fire can come in for Elevate. And they're getting some shots off, but Ox is largely alone right now. And they actually have Viral down to basically a 1-shot. And wall hacks with a great pick there, and now it's just Supernova. And Ox, once again, staying alive against all odds, and Teal Team 6 just getting eviscerated in that middle courtyard right now.
And yep, up north, we've got Greg getting pressured. External has closed the distance with Canadian on a strong angle. Gets the kill. External now with some cover. Takes on Emus. Canadian now out of ammo. External's going to go down pretty soon, but we'll see what Elevate can do with this situation, as External is working with a slightly increased reload time, or reduced reload time.
Zombie Food doing what he can do, as Emus does take down External, but Zombie Food's now on reload as Vetro puts one shot into him, and he's trying to get out of there. Banana the Wall Hose also reloading, but he'll come off his reload in about 10 seconds.
Vetro lands the shell you were just talking about. Zombie, though, alive, is able to get away for a little bit longer.
And Ox somehow still alive in that I-7 down. Supernova running circles around him, has him permatracked. Nothing Ox can do. He needs his teammate to come in, and actually Supernova misses the retrack, and Ox picks up the kill. Unfortunate there. Good effort from Supernova, but missing that track shot ultimately ended up dooming him. And that is going to be it. That is going to be a 1-0 victory in favor of Elevate.
Nicely played. I wouldn't say super standard victory, but also just they handled the situation well.
No.
You saw Teal Team 6 attempt to respond to the a nice little move, getting a heavy tank up an exposed corridor so they can just move in, so that Elevate can move a tank close to Teal Team 6's defensive positions. Once you had, who was that? That was one of the 5As. It would have been Brett.
Right.
Yeah, Brett moving up, IS-7 in the far, sorry, you guys are looking at here, southeast with the IS-7.
Yeah, and then also Wallhack's got some shots in there as well.
Yeah, and now, just all those shots coming from different directions.
The one thing, the one major flaw with that strat, with how it was set up for Teal Team 6, where they started to go wrong, was Ox single-handedly kept 2 tanks out of the fight. Now, unknowingly, it's not that he knew they were there, but because of that positioning, if either Supernova or Viral tried to leave their passive bushes, he would have spotted them and they would have gone down. So they had to hold their shots, and then they tried to take the 2-on-1. The problem was Elevate were ready for it, and their focus fire was superb. Viral only got 2 shots off into Ox, so overall it was just great coordination and a good read from Elevate, kind of understanding what was likely happening.
Yeah, and because Teal Team 6 pressed on every single angle, like they attacked north and over in the south in that 2v1. They took one bad engagement with the majority of their forces and what looked like a good engagement with the tiny minority, those 2 tanks.
Yep.
And that doesn't stack up very well. Generally, if you win that tiny overmatch, you lose the other side.
Right. So looking at it, Vetro and Emus both doing top damage for their teams, 3,100 apiece, 1 kill for each. So both doing what they can. Now, tank lineup is coming in for our second battle as they start to ready up their tanks. 10 seconds left on the countdown timer.
Looks like Vetro's going to bring a 215B. Not a bad choice at all. I've been waiting to see a few more of those because it's just simply the damage output and the way that this tank can perform in defense. Compare that with a Kronwagen.
Yeah.
You give up a little DPM with the Kronwagen, but where you end up defending harder. And then the 4 bat chats and a T100 against the IS-7 5A 103B, 2 bat chats, a T5051, and T100 again from Supernova.
TVP is an interesting pick on this map just because it's large. It's not a great ridge working tank, and I fail to see, just off the top of my head, how it can be applied to use that sudden burst effectively. Blind fire maybe. Trying to clear the bushes would be the only thing I can think of. Just being able to fire off rapid shots.
I actually was going to agree with that one. Absolutely, that's one use for it. I might even say you could bring the right high fire rate medium tank though and do the exact same thing, or with slightly more effectively.
Right.
But what it does bring is when you finally get into a fight, it has enough burst that you can just really take down one of those 5As or IS-7s to a reasonable hit point level where you can just finish them off.
Also early game, trying to counter out active scout tanks, being able to pump out that 1,200 damage if they say find a T100 or batch at making a scout run. It certainly could be effective there. The problem is it's kind of a, I feel like it's kind of a one-trick pony almost. Few certain things. Now, we've talked about that. There are 2 types of tanks you want. We'll get to that in 1 second because it looks like there's actually some tanks moving over on the other side of the map, getting real aggressive towards that cap. That's going to be the Love Hitman and Viral moving on to that cap right now.
Yep. 2 tanks, heavies, moving up into position. They have some measure of control, and there's no one really here to do much. Ox Mathis and the Kronwagen does not have a strong angle on the position of the Love Hitman or Greg, and that's going to be good for Teal Team 6 on this attack. On the other side, Vetro, at a slightly wider angle, is kind of watching the positions, waiting to see if he can get closer. And it looks like that pressure on Cap is going to cause Elevate to send out their wing of Bat Chats. It's going to be Dodoma chasing up Canadian Impact with External on Brett. Now, if these guys can catch a tank out of position or just catch anyone by surprise, they should be okay. The risk here is, well, how's this gonna play out, James?
Yeah, well, this is pretty much what I call a hammer and anvil strat. However, we'll get to it in a second. Let's get back to the action because they're actually pushing in right now.
Yeah, we've got Canadian versus Supernova right now. A little action on the east side with the Bat Chats. And at the same time, tanks in the middle of the field from Teal Team 6 are going to try and hold that up. Meanwhile, at the cap, we've got Vetro engaging against Viral Emus, Hitman, and Greg. But there's a huge overmatch here in favor of Teal Team 6. And so if Teal Team decides to push forward, they may be able to kill Vetro and the Kronwagen, but this is getting risky. Love Hitman down to very low hit points. Vetro puts one, and the finishing shot from Ox. Now Greg, Viral, and Emus get to move up, so this probably won't last much longer. It's going to be very important for Elevate to send their Bat Chats from the east, get them onto this side of the map, clean this up, get the kills that they need. Otherwise, Vetro is about to go down.
You should go down to Greg here, who should have the final shot. Actually, no, Viral picks it up.
Nicely played.
Now, that is pretty much exactly what Elevate wanted, though. That was Teal Team 6 trying to push into that anvil, and while they did get the pick onto Vetro, they are down a lot of HP, and that was 2 tanks out of the fight for a good while the rest of the Bat Chats have moved up into the north. They have the isolation onto Zombie Food. Supernova has to stay up on that red line, or he's going to go down, as Canadian Impact's just going to push in the T100 and pick up the kill. Emu's sitting here trying to get some shots off while External finds some shots onto that. Looks like just firing at the front plate, managing to get some penetrations. And Impact's going to come around on the heavies here to pick up the kill. Greg should be the next one going down as well.
Greg gets aggressive onto, there we go, nice support from External. And remaining is just Supernova, that T100. Relatively healthy, didn't get to do much in this fight. He's done about 900 damage this whole battle. And, well, Teal Team 6 wasn't able to support, and Elevate wins battle number 2 in good fashion. So, already 2 up.
Now, what I was going to talk about before that whole brawl started was the hammer and anvil strat. So, using just a few tanks to slow down one side and using your faster tanks to clear the other. And that's exactly what Elevate did.
It's a risk, though.
It's a risk. However, the trick is really making them pay for it. Being just such a big, heavy weight that even if they push into it and they can kill it, it's either going to, 1, take a lot of time, or 2, you're going to bleed a lot of tanks doing it. And if you notice, positions from Elevate, they had Ox and the Kronwagen sitting over in a hold-down spot with a long line of approach to him, so no one's going to get to him quickly.
Exactly.
And then Vetro on the high ground in a 215B, a high HP tank, 2500.
If you have to push into that tank, into Vetro, what you're doing is you're exposing weaker armored sides to that Kronwagen, so it's that much easier for him to get the shells he needs.
So in this case, the Anvil was the crossfire between those 2 tanks plus their HP and positions. And if you notice, it took those 2 tanks out of the fight, and while they did manage to kill Vetro eventually, they bled a lot of HP, and that sort of 2-on-2 is completely fine for Elevate, because they have to have tanks on cap, and that allows the Bat Chats clearing the forest to, 1, know that they're at worst pushing into an equal fight. Because they know that there's 2 tanks there, Elevate know that there's 2 tanks in front of them, there's 2 less tanks on the rest of the map. Now looking at the damages here, Ox, 2,800 damage,
and
80
Brett,
fantasy points.
Yeah, Brett and External right behind him with 2,000 and 2K. Bananas the wall host and Zombie Food in that TVP, putting up decent damage for a losing team. Wall hacks and Dodoma didn't get as much opportunity. Dodoma actually ended up having to use a lot of his time and effort just kind of skirmishing, and so not dealing all that much damage. He just kind of kept things at bay, necessary to let his teammates do the work that they needed. Those Bat Chats we were waiting to come in.
Overall it was very solidly executed from Elevate. And what that sort of hammer and anvil strat does, it allows them to take map control. It boxes Teal Team 6 into one solid spot. So now that's out of the way, though, well, let's move on to Ruinberg, which is now in front of us. Elevate, not perfect on this map. They've had some bumps over the last couple of match days, and actually this is actually one of the maps the Teal Team 6 really haven't played that much. They only have 4 games on it in total.
And lineups.
So looking at the lineups, Randall, if you look at the side of Elevate.
Yeah, that's a Mouse, 3 5As, a Foch B, Batchat, and T100.
Kind of an odd mix of tanks. We'll get to that in a second. Meanwhile, Teal Team 6 favoring IS-7s, 4 IS-7s, a 263, a Batchat, and another 263.
Yeah, they got 2 of them. And they're going to be rolling together. Zombie Food, Emus. Looks like they'll be rolling north, supporting Supernova and a Batchat. So Supernova's going to go north as a scout bat. and the IS-7s are going to go mid-road. Bananas, Love Hitman, Viral, all of them. So what this says is North cap, put pressure on the 1 cap. IS-7s are going to move forward as a kind of just a hit squad, and they're going to screen. They're just going to start a fight wherever they can, ideally within range of the positions of the 1 cap where the 263s can cover. That Batchat, I'm hoping he goes deep into the 0 line where he can try to cover or spot whatever needs to be spotted so that this fast cap can succeed. Otherwise, this is going to fall flat on its face.
I actually really like this from Teal Team 6. The I-7's taking that spot in the low ground. They're going to be really hard to hit there. Now, they are bleeding some HP, but they're finding this kill into Ox, and with the 263s coming in at the same time, they have the side shots, and Supernova closing at point blank. That's a pix onto Ox Mathis, and now they have this North cap. They have a solid crossfire. They have the A6 village all to themselves, and these IS-7s are going to be hard to chew through.
Now they are. Now, there's the Batchat Supernova spotting Vetro. He's going to actually be using the mouse as cover, so Vetro can't really get much fire on him, and he's able to kind of watch this entire advance from Elevate as they move into the IS-7s of Teal Team 6.
And the T100, keep an eye on that. He has gotten in behind Canadian Impact as the heavy tanks are taking this overmatch, and Wallhacks is just pushing around, getting behind. He's breaking the turrets. He has a full clip. These IS-7s will die. The biggest thing to keep an eye on right now is Canadian Impact in the north. He has to get those resets.
He gets one right into the back of Emus before he's forced to back off. Zombie Food now moving out into the open to support the IS-7 fight. Sees where he can find some shells. He's got all of the cap points. Bounces one shell that would have stopped cap, and now Supernova moves back to stop Canadian Impact. Zombie Food, though, gets reset, and that's going to take the pressure off of Elevate for just a moment, allow them to work on that cap.
Yep,
nicely done.
Elevate should clean this up. It's a 5v3, tanks in behind, tanks in front. They haven't boxed into this top cap. Now, these 263s, though, you cannot underestimate them. Look at how many one-shot tanks Elevate has. It's 3 and possibly Dodoma on a super high roll out of that 263.
Honestly, it's doable at this point from... Oh, no. Supernova. ¿Por qué?
And his teammate's going to save him, put him back on his side.
Okay, he's got this, but that was silly.
That was almost really bad, and now Vetro's going to come around the corner here in the Foch B, try to find some shots onto Zombie Food. He has all the 5As joining them, and they do find Wallhacks and Canadian Impact. They're trying to take that fight over there because they know that's the only even fight they're going to get, and Dodoma's going to push around in this 5A with only one with high HP, and he's going to take that shot, and now this should be a dead Zombie Food. So the rest of them push around. Brett finds the kill onto Supernova. A bounce shot off that 263. 263 hard tank to kill. External finally gets the finishing shot. And Wallhacks is reloading, and Emus knows it, so he's just going to turn towards the other tanks, try to pick up one more kill.
Gets one.
Gets it.
He can, actually, legitimately, if he plays this right, it's a one-shot each kill. That's a bounce, and that's a connection from Brett. Okay, there we go. For a moment there. For a moment. It's a decent tank destroyer. It's got good armor. It shoots quickly. He could have done it.
I'm gonna say this: Steel Team 6. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
I like that. I really do like that strat. I like the setup. I like what they tried to go for. The problem is they're playing Elevate. They knew how to respond.
Yeah. Maybe the tank composition is something to think about. IS-7s are decently quick. They aren't the highest DPM tank you could have chosen, and I think maybe mixing the group up a little bit or positioning them differently might have had a better effect. What you probably wanted to do was to have the tank destroyers, the objects, you wanted them in supporting positions. What we didn't quite achieve here with Teal Team 6 is Teal Team 6 wasn't able to achieve full fire support from the tank destroyers. Both Object 263s were on cap and hiding for a bit. And that was well and good. The problem was they were both looking to the east, expecting to start coming out and bringing that support fire, and that allowed for Canadian Impact and the T100 to get resets.
That was the strat would have been fine if it wasn't for Canadian Impact. Now, looking at the damage here real quick, Wallhack's top damage for Elevate, 90 fantasy points. Dodoma, 2,600, 2 kills. Brett, 2,600, 3 kills, 2 fantasy points. And then Vetro and the Foch B, 2,400, 1 clip worth. Emus doing what he can for Teal Team 6, and then it drops off after that. Now, what I'll say is that strat went really well, except for Canadian Impact getting them behind.
That was avoidable.
Now, one slight change you could think about, maybe pulling one of the I-7s back, switching it to a support tank, a 50B, or another bat chat, and leaving them deeper in the town, because that'll do two things. It covers the I-7s and puts an eye on the back door in case the tank comes around. Kind of gives you a little bit more flexibility. The problem is then the I-7's in the middle. If Elevate plays their angles right, they're a little bit more vulnerable, etc. We'll talk about that more later, I'm sure.
Sure. So we have 2 I-7s, 3 mouse, and 2 bat chats on the side of Elevate. Teal Team 6 bringing 4 of the 5As, Fosh B, and 2 bat chats. So only slight mobility from both teams in this battle.
Yep. Now we are going to see that Fosh B come out for Teal Team 6 this time.
Heads
favoring
north.
the defender. Yep. And they're actually going to send it up to that A6 village.
Not bad. Not bad. Let's take a moment actually and look at the giant mini-map here. You're going to notice Mouse Squad moving forward, IS-7 Squad moving forward, Bat Chat's coming in for a loop. Yeah, this is... Elevate's about to get spotted. Although, notice the IS-7's hitting a pit. Ah, never mind. Jig's up. IS-7 spotted north, Mouse spotted, Bat Chat. This bat in the south is the only thing that remains an unknown quantity. And you're seeing this shift right now come from Teal Team 6.
They are trying to back away. Now, why Viral's trying to leave right now?
He doesn't want to get pinned. He doesn't want to get caught in a bat chat. Remember this. If you're a bat chat and you're caught out here in the open, this isn't ideal. You would prefer to have a heavy tank. Of course, it's difficult to get a heavy tank at the position Viral's expected to be in.
If you have enough support fire, if you tuck into that A3 corner, there really isn't anything the other team can do about it.
But a heavy tank's better than a medium.
Now, I will say, I do like what Viral is going for. He switched to a random bush at A4. It's going to be something that's not going to be expected. He'll have the eyes on cap. Now, he will be extremely vulnerable if he gets spotted, if a tank gets close enough. But it should be just enough of an alteration to throw Elevate off their game. Maybe
just. Now, Elevate's current positionings. This is going back to a very, very old way of playing the map. The old east-west style, where one team would normally take the city, one team would normally take the village side, and it would stalemate for 15 minutes. Now, just because Elevate lost the element of surprise, what they're going to do is they're going to kind of settle into these defensive positions. But the problem here, James, is this is a position that Elevate's put themselves into, which might slow them down too much, a little bit too much, to the point where they give up too much time, and then Teal Team 6 gets to, well, just win on time.
All right, well, they try to respawn right now, and Elevate are trying to open up this defense with Teal Team 6. Well, let's go ahead and listen into the comms of Elevate and see exactly what they're planning.
So our veterans lit?
No, I'm not lit.
Okay, that's good for us then. We'll
I am not lit. This mouse isn't lit yet.
They're just fucking hiding everywhere.
I'm pretty sure the only guy spotting is probably this. There's always some further back.
Could be a fox.
Do you want us to go? Do you want the two mice to go to the corner?
The IS-7 should cross
go
this
up and
way.
cross, yeah.
I just got spotted
and
now.
the bats just jump on the back.
Yeah, go 7, go.
I got lit. He's in a bush.
You stop
Just
though.
go.
Go.
I'm lit right now.
Nice, he's half health.
Shoot him.
Still not lit. I got lit there.
He's in a bush over
They have something up here.
Amazing.
Got lit
Can't
here.
shoot him there.
He's in the bush in the corner, yeah.
Fuck B up there.
Probably push up box. I don't know.
Yeah, we should push up. Oh, bet. I'm ammo.
Fuck B shot 4, I think.
Ooh, unlucky.
Bat's behind. Bat's pushing behind.
Can we
Fuck
kill
B
this
shot like
Ouija?
4.
Can we kill this
Shot
Ouija?
4, I think.
I'm trying to pinch him out of you guys.
in the Foch.
Yeah, nice.
I'm going towards the wall volley.
This
Hit
guy's
the Wheezy,
in
hit the
open.
Wheezy.
Bat's in the window behind.
It's fine, just
They
shoot.
have another Wheezy there.
Where did my shot just go? Wheezy, that bat in the window's -2.
Let me hide all the way behind you so if anything does
Nah.
flank.
Impact's getting pushed. You guys should have shots on him. On cap.
Shoot bananas.
I got
Holding
26.
3.
He's safe. There's no shot on him.
Can we cross back
Yeah,
over
keep
and kill
moving.
this
I
bat?
can kill him in 10
You
seconds.
guys could just keep moving.
Betcher, can you come with me to
They
kill
still
this
need
bat?
a
Yeah,
reset.
I'm coming.
Thank you. I don't know where he is.
I'm gonna check to the right. Here he is. He's just in the gubby. I
gonna
can
get a
force
reset.
him out.
He's
I'm gonna
looking
force
for
him out. Yeah, if he drives, he's driving out. I can
Farm
help
right
you.
now.
But they have to do something about cap right now.
Lighting the 0-1.
He shot.
He just shot.
This guy just shot.
He shot 3 Vetro.
Can I get help with this Wheezy here?
Yeah,
Just stay
I can
safe.
help
I
you,
need to go help
sure.
them with them.
Oh, fuck.
What is-
sorry.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah, we should.
Have cap.
Fine.
We have cap.
Yeah, nice.
All right. That was Elevate capping this one out successfully on the North cap. Well, that happened.
Yeah, that happened. Well, like I was talking about before we went to the listen-in, viral in that bush. The problem is well, it's different, and you're pending on them not looking for it and stopping and not trying to push into A6. The second they get close enough, the proximity light him. He has no cover. He's not getting out of there. There was 5 guns looking at him, and you saw him fire 1 shot before he ended up dying.
Pretty much.
So risky. It's one of those Hail Mary plays where it's if it works great and they play right into it, you're a hero. If not, it's bust, and
Exactly.
that's what happens.
And Teal Team 6 really kind of let this whole thing happen too. Is they had plenty of vision. They knew what was going on. They even had Elevate slowing down a lot, which is where I was starting to doubt, because once you're pinned into the city, it can be quite difficult to push out. You have to cross quite a great distance in order to begin your engagement. And in this case, Teal Team 6 wasn't ready for that. They weren't ready to set up to punish that approach. It's so far outside of the norm that it didn't occur to them. They tried to just adjust so that they could get guns in the right places to have a fight.
Yep.
It wasn't about setting up for the appropriate defense because they knew what to do. It was because Elevate brought something that Teal Team 6 just was not ready for.
Yep, not at all. And Canadian Impact having a very nice game there. 100 fantasy points, 3,200 damage. Vetro and Ox both doing decent. Good to see Ox back up on top of the scoreboard. Dodoma here on the second page. And then External did one of those jobs that just you have to do sometimes, where you just drive into other guns. You're the one that breaks the turrets, that eats the shots. And then the Foch B unloaded his clip into him, and that's kind of what they wanted. They said, look, that Foch B, he has 6 shots, he can kill any of us. So they gave him External as a sacrificial lamb. Yep. That's just what happens sometimes.
He did enough, as much as he could. Now, we're moving on to Sand River for map number 3. One more win here for Elevate will clear out the match. This will be it. This is the end. Teal Team 6, though, will have to come back with 4 wins in a row in order to give themselves any chance of victory in a tiebreaker.
Yep. Now, small victories for Teal Team 6. They made it to battle number 5 without hitting the spectator button. So good job, guys.
As Greg promised, 100% less spectators today.
All right, now Elevate coming in here. 3 5As, 3 bat chats, and a T100. Teal Team 6, an I7, 2 5As, 3 bat chats, and a T100 of their own.
All right, so let's follow the T100s for their opening moves. This is probably one of the first things you'll want to pay attention to in any battle. See where these T100s go, the way they drive. Notice the slight incline instead of waiting to get to the end to go straight uphill. Keeps your momentum a little bit better. Just touch the lip, and there we go. We've got spotting on External, Ox Mathis, wall hacks, and we know what's going this way. We don't know what's all the way up north yet, but Viral's going to try and figure that out best he can as it goes on.
T100 does spot that chat in the low ground, so Elevate may know this is coming. They're trying to pincer out these 2 5As. But not enough guns to really support them down in the low ground there.
Supernova.
It was actually going to turn around.
Yeah, that's a smart play.
They wanted to go for it, but the second they got spotted by Canadian Impact, they knew they had to abort, or it would have been a absolutely brutal crossfire to push into.
Yeah, bat chats are retreating, trying to figure out something different to do. Viral spotting up north. Pay attention to this position. Quicker to get to, and you're able to spot that northern approach where Dodoma and Vetro are. At the same time, though, Viral is slightly exposed. He could be taking fire, but he knows that no one's paying attention because Elevate isn't. He's able to put 1 shell out and get about 265 damage where he can. Nicely done, Viral. Although it does look like some return fires coming his way. That's coming from... yes, everyone that way is... Oh, and he
nice
got
shots.
Greedy. So this is another thing to talk about as a scout, is sticking in the same place for a little too long. You let yourself get spotted once, that's fine, right? The enemy might not be ready to shoot you, they might not understand how to deal with the elevation to get a shot, and you're a T100, so you're really short. You're just a hard target to hit.
Sometimes,
but you spot 6 or 7 times in the same spot, James, what's going to happen?
They're going to start lining up and looking for it. Now, the other thing to remember is this, unlike a pub match, there's no artillery in either team right now, so he's playing with that in the back of his head, that there's not going to be the artillery raining down on him every 30 seconds, which is what happens when you stay in one spot for too long. Now, the problem is sometimes if you let that mindset get in there, then you start worrying less about actual guns sometimes. So if you go, yay, no artillery, but you do something like Viral just did there, you stay too long and you end up getting punished, and now he has no choice but to back off.
Yeah, because in most pub matches, and even Clan Wars or other tournaments, there's a lot of angles that get used in this format that you will not really see quite as much anywhere else.
Well, and a lot of that has to do with the attack defense format. Just map the positions that are commonly fought over.
And the skill tier that we're playing at?
Exactly. Or they're altered a significant bit from you know, just the general regular matches.
Yeah. And this one's gearing up. We've got bat chats moving in from the south. And Elevate, Canadians just spotted Bananas and Supernova, so we know it's down there. Elevate's going to be able to figure out what to do with that. At the same time, they've still got their bat chat up in the north, kind of keeping things as they are. As long as he doesn't see any major changes, I'm expecting that Vetra will be able to keep things under control with whatever Elevate's got up their sleeve. They've still left a 5A up north, James, and I kind of wonder what's going on there. It's Dodoma, who's been chilling out in the backfield for a while, and he looks like he's finally going to shift out and prep for Elevate's big push. Once he groups up, I think that's when we're going to see.
Now, these two bat chats actually have left the zero line for Teal Team 6 without being spotted. Canadian Impact just not having the line of sight he needed on them, so they're actually going to be out of there, and that's going to be Teal Team 6 with another one of those little small victories where Elevate are now unsure where the tanks are. They think they're down there in the south. Canadian Impact had them spotted earlier, and they don't quite know that they've moved, so that's going to kind of throw Elevate off a little bit longer.
Yeah, we'll have to see what's going on for him. Because those bat chats that have just moved around, let's explore them for a second. That's Supernova, is one of those guys, and that's Bananas the Wall Host. And they seem to be waiting for something to happen, a trigger to be pulled for them to push out. But let's return to Elevate for a moment and listen in with them, find out what's going on inside that Elevate head.
I'm not with that push, so if all the bats are down there.
You two have to go first.
Okay.
He's looking for a shot.
No, that's just
Really
supporting.
turned away.
He may push over when
Heavies are going. Heavies are going.
He's gonna push over on you, Wally.
I know. I'm get ready to fucking skedaddle.
You should just leave now. We're about to do that.
Yeah, we're
Lit.
lit.
Let's keep going for the speed that channel. I'll say with you.
See repeat.
Okay, so we're pushing in on
He
Greg here.
didn't like me. He didn't like me.
Yeah, we're just aggroing Greg.
Wait, we.
Yeah, I actually just realized it too.
Now we have our side. But just go.
Bats are going. Bats are going.
Just go down in.
I should have really sell away. Shit.
Bat.
That's one of these guys.
Just bad. I have to get behind
go,
you.
go.
I think it's safe. I think it's safe.
Just go, 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 go! There's nothing there
Wait,
anymore,
go.
guys! Bats!
Yeah, we were already in the dip when the other guy got spotted.
Okay, keep pushing.
Oh, I fell in. Fuck.
That's what we're doing.
Why did you two keep going?
Because I thought he was talking to me. I didn't realize.
We need to counter push. Just
Keep
kill
up
the
and shoot the
I-7.
best.
Kill the I-7.
Oh, nice. 7?
Yeah, the bats are gonna be loading.
Okay, fine. Just blocked.
Didn't mean to. Bats
Pushing
coming
pass.
behind. Bats coming behind.
Fucking wreck.
I got
I got.
shots.
Oh, okay.
Bat and the open zombie food.
Fuck. Nice. I'm reloading.
I have one left.
He bounced.
He bounced me.
I'm loading. 200 lit. He's one shot.
There's the other bat Vetra.
Head behind. He can kill me. I
21.
need help.
Bats committing on me.
18. I load.
Guys gotta help box if you can. Supernova's almost
Bats
clipped
wasting
out.
his clip on
Supernova's
me.
clipped out. Supernova's clipped out.
He can
I'm
get one
chasing.
more.
I'm chasing.
I got him.
Can I go for
That
banana?
bat is reloading in shot 5.
And that is going to be it. That is going to be Elevate picking up the victory in just a second after they kill Viral here.
Boom.
Gotta love that out of Elevate. They took a lot of damage early on. They pushed into that WZ, even though the crossfire was set from Teal Team 6. But you heard them talk about it, that clip management, the understanding the situation they're in, and really turning that battle around. They were down 2,000 HP when those bat chats came in, and they took down the IS-7. Plus, then the bat chat trying to kill Ox. It was just spectacular focus fire. It was Elevate being Elevate. There's no other way to say it than that's Elevate.
And to add a little bit of to that, it did sound like they were comfortable. They did not seem under any real pressure in this case. Like they understood we're gonna do just fine. We know what Teal Team's generally up to. We'll figure it out, and they just did. Because like usually Wally's a little bit more elevated than that. Yeah. just a little bit more. In this case, he just was more like a plateau.
Yeah. Well, you know, he has that strong New York accent. And,
it's
definitely can be aggressive, but overall, you know, he was pretty mellow. He got a little bit louder there on that second game, but last game anyways. Yeah. But that's wall hacks, the rest of the team making sure they do everything right. And remember, this is a team game. There's 7 people on the field, so you know you have to make them all work together. So you hear a lot of people, you know, questioning each other and you know doing decisions, and it's just because they're trying to figure out what's each best for both themselves and the team and how to make it work together. And in this case, you know, it really just comes down to Elevate just being that step ahead of Teal Team 6. Now, I will say this: Teal Team 6 much impressed, especially over the 3 weeks that they've played so far. This was miles better than their opening match day. Obviously, weren't able to get around. I don't think that tells the full picture. I think they're really starting to come into their own. A lot of clever strats. The execution was pretty good. The problem, once again, though, is this is the 3rd best team in the world. This is the most winningest team in North America.
And they won in 23 minutes.
Yeah.
It took about 23 minutes in total to win this entire match. Not the fastest ever, if I'm, unless I'm mistaken, but I think that probably kind of brings that all together for you. It took 20 minutes for them to do this.
Yep. Ox top damage dealer in this last game, that 5A, 90 fantasy points. Brett, in their 2,900, 2 kills. Impact, Dodoma, and Vetro on the bottom half of the page for Elevate. Been in the wall host and viral doing what they can. Then on the second page, Greg, Emu, Zombie Food, Left Hitman, and Viral down there. Wall hacks, getting focused out in that bat chat as he tried to leave that north spot, getting the spots that he could for his team. Overall, though, just not panning out for him, but it doesn't really matter because he was off on the weak flank while the rest of the team was doing most of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, totally fine for him. And, well, post-match overall, Ox Mathis did well today with 313. Brett right behind him, 260, although Canadian Impact of becoming a bit of a favorite, 374 points right there. Looking down, Vetro, not the most spectacular game for him.
No, relatively quiet night, but if you look at it, damage, it was just the kills is where he really lacked out on those fantasy points. His damage is in line with the other two, really, but
he really didn't get the fantasy points. That's well below his 60 average per game.
Yep, definitely unfortunate there, but you know, still coming in at about a like 45 average there, somewhere around. So,
but do remember, 5-0s that go quite the way that they did tend to result in lower points because more battles, more points.
Yep. Now we are going to be joined by Comps for a winner interview. So, Comps, you going to put that smile back on from Tuesday, or are you guys still not happy?
I mean, it was good. It wasn't a team as, I guess, as competitive as Dare. So, you know, this one was a lot less hard on the guys and on Wally calling. So, I mean, until we face Dare again, we'll see if improvements have been made.
Okay.
So, now, given in mind who your opponent was, do you feel this was a step in the right direction, or do you still feel there was some mistakes made that you guys shouldn't have made?
It was good. I mean, comms were good. Guys were feeling good. They were talking for the first 4 matches. Towards the last one, it got a little hectic, a little, you know, miscommunication in the comms. But overall, I mean, 5-0, you can ask for anything better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
Any last things to say for the match or anything in general on this one?
Nope. I mean, I guess it was sort of expected. You know, new team in the league. I mean, they're trying their best, so, you know, kudos to them. But overall, I mean, I guess this was what it was supposed to be. So, yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, once again, Comps, any final thoughts for your fans out there?
No. I mean, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us.
All right. That was Comps.
So, any final thoughts on that?